climate for our future resonates deeply with the President's executive order of 1st March 2026, which calls upon all citizens to be champions of clean public spaces. President Mutharika further says by protecting the environment, Malawians are not only building strong resilience to the effects of climate change, but also preserve the country's breathtaking landscapes and rich biodiversity that make Malawi a destination of choice for visitors worldwide. In a related development, the newly launched National State of the Environment and Outlook report has revealed that Malawi's worsening environmental degradation is posing a threat to the economy of the country and food security. The report was launched in Lilongwe alongside the commemoration of the 2026 World Environment Day and International Day for Biodiversity. Beatrice Mwape reports.
The National State of the Environment Outlook report has revealed that 8 million hectares of Malawi's land and the country is losing 250,000 hectares of forest cover annually. Additionally, the report says water availability has declined by 47% and that 40% of the country's water infrastructure is non-functional. Further to this, the report has highlighted that 96% of Malawian households rely on biomass energy. It has attributed this to rapid population, biomass dependence, weak enforcement of laws, and limited sectoral coordination, among others. The report therefore provides strategic recommendations to guide the country for evidence-based policy planning and investment decisions in environmental management. Speaking during the launch, Minister of Natural Resources Patricia Wiskesi said the state of the environmental outlook is worrisome and needs collective action. She says government will strengthen its operations in implementing programs that aim at restoring the degraded environment.
This time around, we want to implement a complete turnaround strategy where we are not looking at not only burning charcoal but working with communities that are living in surrounding protected areas to ensure that they participate in the protection of our forest and forest reserves.
UN Resident Coordinator Rebecca Ada Donto says environmental degradation is negatively impacting Malawi's economy and livelihoods. Donto says the report, therefore, is a call for Malawi to take urgent action in addressing these challenges, stressing Malawi's environmental future will shape its economic future. On her part, Norway's Deputy Ambassador Ranvig Rajendra says the report is a reminder of the need to invest in environment. Rajendra says Norway remains committed to partner with Malawi in strengthening environmental governance and ensuring recommendations are implemented for lasting results. United Nations Environmental Programme Chief Disasters and Conflicts Ambassador Cecilia Ibira has since stressed the need to ensure the recommendations are implemented for lasting impact.
So I don't think it's an option in this case. We really need to invest in environment for our sustainable development.
Board chairperson for Malawi Environmental Protection Authority, MEPA Yanira Ntubanyama, says the report reveals serious concerns about the state of the environment in Malawi, which require urgent action, stressing it is critical if Malawi is to achieve the Malawi 2063 agenda.
We usually have disasters happening, and most of the money goes to the disasters instead of being used for other areas. So that affects the economy of the country. So that also will not help us in terms of 2063 vision.
The report has been compiled by a team of 64 Malawian scientists with technical support from UNEP and Grid Arenda and financial assistance from the government of Norway. The launch has been held under the theme Acting Locally for Global Impact. Beatrice Mwape, MBC News, Lilongwe.
WaterAid has embarked on the distribution of water treatment chemicals and storage packets in Blantyre, days after carrying out a similar exercise in Nsanje and Chikwawa districts. The exercise comes as the Blantyre District Health Office has recorded 119 cholera cases since January 2026. Maria Soko, WaterAid's hygiene and behavior change specialist, said they decided to distribute such supplies to Blantyre residents because of the number of cases registered since January. Soko said the organization, together with the Malawi government, is promoting messages on good hygiene and household sanitation.
We've come to support Ministry of Health in the fight against cholera. It's surprising, and you'll even be surprised that we are having new cholera cases every day. And Blantyre and other parts of the southern region have been the most hardest hit. Right now, we are in Blantyre and we are supporting this Kamezawan, Chidimba, Bangwe. That's where we are distributing chlorine, and we were even providing the hand washing buckets that will help them, the dilution of the stock solution. And we'll also be going to Sanje, where we'll also support communities with the same water guard and the water buckets for water storage. We are even supporting DHO here and in Sanje with hand sanitizer for hand hygiene.
Since last year, WaterAid has invested about 180 million kwacha in procuring such supplies for distribution across the country. The gesture is also in response to the Presidential Executive Order No. 2 of ensuring that hygiene and sanitation initiatives are championed. In his remarks, Blantyre District Prevention Officer Innocent Mvula was upbeat about reducing the spread of cholera with such supplies.
I would like to acknowledge the assistance that we have received from WaterAid that is going towards our fight against the cholera outbreak that we have here in Blantyre. This is going to go a long way in helping us to fight the wash-related problems that we faced, we have seen in all the areas where there is cholera. As it has been said, we have done most of the community awareness, we have done community mobilization, we have tried to do everything. But what was remaining, and which is a major challenge, is on the wash-related problems.
Dowa District Council has appealed to development partners to scale up support for communities affected by climate shocks in the district. The call comes as Catholic Relief Services has launched a 500,000 United States dollars emergency relief program, approximately 867.2 million kwacha, which is expected to benefit more than 2,700 vulnerable households through food assistance. Emmanuel Chikonso reports.
Catholic Relief Services Malawi country representative Sekai Mudoni said Dowa has often been left out of emergency relief responses because it has traditionally been viewed as a food-secure district despite facing recurring climate-related shocks. Mudoni said the program will provide food assistance to 2,700 vulnerable households during the lean season.
We targeted Dowa. Why? Because many supporters or donors were in other districts, but we discovered that there are vulnerable communities in Dowa, and we decided to come and provide that support. So what we are doing on this project, we are providing food relief. We are providing 2,700 vulnerable communities with a package that is given once, but for 2 months. We are following the minimum expenditure basket.
Dowa District Council Director of Planning and Development, Philemon Maseko, welcomed the intervention, saying it complements government's efforts to support affected communities.
Within the CDF, reformed CDF, they have allocated 250 million, which will be an update, quick response to the disasters once they crack in the communities. As such, with that plans, we feel that most of the problems that communities face after disasters will be responded immediately.
Traditional authority Zole urged residents of Dowa to make productive use of their land and avoid leasing it to outsiders, saying the practice contributes to food insecurity. The relief program will run throughout June and July. Each beneficiary household has received 100 kilograms of maize, 10 kilograms of beans, and 4 liters of cooking oil. Emmanuel Chikonso, MBC News, Dowa.
Health service delivery is expected to improve in Dowa following a donation of medical equipment and supplies worth 3 billion kwacha to Dowa District Hospital by Patriots Malawi. Director of Health Services and Sanitation for Dowa District Hospital, Peter Mapoza, made the remarks in Dowa during a handover ceremony. Olive Perry reports.
Makoza commended Patriots Malawi and its partners for providing medical equipment and supplies to the district hospital and other healthy facilities in the district. He said the hospital has been facing various challenges due to shortages of essential medical equipment and supplies, adding that the donation will help address some of these challenges. Patriots Malawi donated the medical equipment and supplies through Project Cure in partnership with Islamic Relief USA. One of the board directors of Patriots Malawi, Henry Debwe, urged hospital staff to take good care of the equipment and ensure it is used for its intended purpose.
With the coming of these, medical supplies and equipment, we are hoping that the health services in the district are actually going to improve quite a lot.
Some of the items donated include ICU beds with air mattresses, wheelchairs and crutches, laboratory supplies, and personal protective equipment. To date, Patriots Malawi, in collaboration with its partners, has donated medical equipment and supplies to 32 hospitals across the country. Olive Piri, MBC News, Doha.
This is MBC News, a reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika leads the nation in celebrating World Environment Day, calling on citizens to actively appreciate and protect the nation's natural beauty. Government and development partners move swiftly to support households affected by climate shocks. And in sports, the Flames face Ethiopia in Addis Ababa, while the Scorchers take on Tanzania in Dar es Salaam this afternoon. Welcome back. Director of Health and Sanitation Services for Nkata Bay District Council, Dr. Topsem Ndolo, says solar energy has potential to become the most reliable and cost-effective backup power source for hospitals to ensure uninterrupted healthcare services. Dr. Ndolo made the remarks at Nkata Bay District Hospital during the official handover of a solar-powered backup system for the hospital's nursery ward by the NICO Group of Companies in partnership with Nest 360. Chisomo Manda has a report.
Speaking during the handover ceremony, Nkata Bay District Council Director of Health and Social Services, Dr. Topsem Ndolo, said Nkata Bay District Hospital requires about 2,400 litres of diesel, valued at 16 million Malawi kwacha every month, to run its backup power generator. He noted that this is unsustainable, considering that the district receives only 12 million Malawi kwacha per month for fuel to support operations across all its health facilities. Dr. Ndolo said the installation of the solar-powered backup system at the hospital's nursery ward comes as a huge relief, as it will help to ensure a stable power supply for critical equipment and contribute to reducing neonatal deaths.
This has come in a good time because with the sun which we have here and the 4 hours blackout which we usually have on each and every day, this one covers that period of time, because I think the system which they have launched can sustain up to 5 hours. So as having a 4-hour blackout period and a system which can cover for 5 hours is a solution to us. So we take it as a solution because there is no any interruption now. That's why you see that even the neonatal deaths now are decreasing since we started using this one.
Ellis Properties Chief Executive Officer, which is part of the NICO Group of Companies, Washington Chimuzu, said the company remains committed to investing in communities where it operates.
This investment here at Nkata Bay District Hospital is born out of a need to resolve or help with the high rate of deaths amongst children, and this was of concern to the group, which has interests in health and education and other sectors.
The installation of the solar system is worth 5 million Malawi kwacha. Chisomo Manda, MBC News, Nkata Bay.
Efforts to improve waste management in Lilongwe City have received a boost following the training of community volunteers under the Financial Inclusion for Improved Livelihoods Out of Plastics, commonly known as FinLoop project. The initiative, being implemented by Waste Advisors in partnership with Lilongwe City Council, aims to promote proper waste separation and recycling while creating livelihood opportunities for residents. Our reporter Wanango Mvalo has compiled this report, being read by Madalitso Mhango.
Waste management remains one of the major environmental challenges facing Lilongwe City, with increasing volumes of plastic waste threatening public health and the environment. To address the challenge, Waste Advisors, through the FinLoop project, has trained community volunteers to become champions of waste management and waste separation at source. The volunteers have been equipped with knowledge and practical skills that will enable them to educate communities on proper waste handling and recycling practices.
The broad goals of this project are basically two. One is to create a plastic waste-free Lilongwe City, and second one is to create green jobs out of plastics. So we are promoting the plastics value chain. We are building capacity of all the actors involved in the plastics value chain in order to create jobs out of plastics, improve incomes for those who are involved in the plastic value chain, and also to help to create a plastic-free Lilongwe City.
According to Waste Advisors, the project is expected to improve environmental cleanliness and support livelihoods by encouraging the collection and recycling of plastic waste. The volunteers will engage directly with households, raising awareness about the importance of separating waste at source and promoting recycling as a means of reducing pollution. Lilongwe City Council has welcomed the initiative, describing it as a critical step towards achieving a cleaner and healthier city.
We didn't encourage that we should use a team which can simply be recruited maybe for months, they do, then off they go, they leave, then we forget about it. But we have opted to use the permanent structures in the communities, that if the project comes to an end, or when the project comes to an end, those structures will still be there. So it means beyond the project, they still implement it as part of day-to-day work, which they can even hand over to even those who are replacing them, so long as those structures exist.
The FinLoop project is expected to reach thousands of households across Lilongwe, helping communities turn plastic waste into economic opportunities while promoting environmental sustainability. As stakeholders intensify efforts to tackle plastic pollution, the initiative is expected to play a key role in fostering responsible waste management practices and creating greener communities across Lilongwe City.
Parents and caregivers for persons with disabilities in Namiango Blantyre have been drilled on disability rights and inclusion, sexual and reproductive health rights for children with disabilities, among others. Simeon Boyce with the details in this report.
The two-day training, which was organized by Bridge Malawi program with support from Korean National Mission of UNESCO, targeted parents of children with disabilities under Namiango Community Learning Center and the surrounding communities in Bangwe Township. Speaking at the end of the workshop, Bridge Project Manager Stone Makunganya said the initiative was aimed at improving parents' understanding of their children and how to respond in cases of abuse, including where to report.
Aiming at promoting lifelong learning opportunities for marginalized population. So here at Namiango, you know, this center is like the people with disabilities, they come here and we provide different learning opportunities. As a project, we are supporting these caretakers so that they should have also skill to take care of the children and the people with disabilities at their homes.
On his part, Executive Director for Namiango Community Learning Center, Rex Kalima, described the training as an eye-opener, saying parents have been equipped with the skills which they can use to manage children with disabilities.
We want the parents to understand types of disabilities, what is disability, and sexual reproductive health rights, and on where they can report abuse cases, because we have received many cases whereby children have been raped, abused, and they have received different kind of abuses within the community. So we wanted the parents, they should understand where to report the cases. And sometimes the parents, they also shield the perpetrators of those abuses. So we wanted to encourage them that they should also report, if it is the uncle, the aunt, whoever it is that they see that has done that, they should report to the relevant authorities.
Bridge Malawi program, which is in phase 3, will also focus on strengthening the management of financial sustainability of community learning centers through capacity building in practical income generation skills.
Authorities at Blantyre City Market have commended a company known as Helping Local Business for conducting a cleanup exercise in Blantyre aimed at promoting a cleaner and healthier environment. Secretary for the market, Tamvani, expressed appreciation for the initiative, which also included the donation of cleaning materials to the Blantyre City Council. Details in this report by Nixon Malemia, being read by Amin Musa.
Chaonika said the initiative is a timely intervention that complements government and council efforts in maintaining cleanliness in the city.
We are grateful to HLB for donating these cleaning tools. This donation will greatly assist us as we face challenges due to the distance between our main waste bins and our workstations. We also appeal to other well-wishers and organizations to support such initiatives so that our city remains clean and healthy.
In her part, HLB Malawi Director of Business Development, Floris Kawerama, said the company organized the exercise after noting that Blantyre is one of its key operational areas and remains committed to giving back to the communities in which it operates.
First of all, it's because we operate our company and our business in Blantyre. As you have seen, we're in the center. So we, as HLB International, as a policy, the company always gives back or participates within the environment within which we do business. And because we're in Blantyre, in the city of Blantyre, that is why the initiative to clean up, especially the street where our office is based, as an example and as part of being corporate, as being a responsible citizen. As you are aware that the corporate is also a citizen of the country, so as a citizen we decided to take part in cleaning the environment in which we operate.
During the event, HLB Malawi donated wheelbarrows, rakes and brooms to Blantyre City Council to support sanitation efforts in the city.
And in sports, a busy Saturday afternoon awaits Malawi's national men's and women's football teams as they are to play friendlies against Ethiopia and Tanzania respectively. The Flames' match against Ethiopia is part of their preparations for the Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers, while the Scorchers will play their second friendly against Tanzania as they prepare for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON. Praise Majawa reports.
The Flames will face the same opponents again on Tuesday, June 9. In the 2027 AFCON qualifiers, Malawi is in Group B alongside Egypt, Angola and South Sudan. Flames head coach Callisto Pasua says the games also help address key tactical areas, particularly in attack.
We are giving each and everyone a chance. If you saw, we didn't change much on the defensive part of it. As you know, our defensive side has been okay. Yes, we need to fix one or two things, but it is the offensive part of it where maybe we are not scoring goals. So we wanted also to test other players to see how they can play.
The last meeting between Flames and Ethiopia came during the 2023 AFCON qualifiers and ended in a goalless draw. In the previous 8 meetings between the two sides, Malawi have won 3 and lost 1, while 4 games have ended in draws. For the Scorchers, they'll be looking to bounce back after Wednesday's 1-0 defeat to Tanzania. The Love Mufazi-led side is using the friendly against the Twiga Stars to fine-tune their preparations ahead of the WAFCON tournament in Morocco next month.
Players are really eager to bring positive results on Saturday game. We had some discussions about 15 minutes with the players and the technical panel. We looked at positives and negatives of the game which we played, and the players contributed. They know where they went wrong, they know where they went good.
The boys and girls are away, and Malawians will be eager to see whether the teams are in good form or not. Praise Majawa, MBC Sport Blantyre.
Well, that item concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. President Mutharika leads the nation in celebrating World Environment Day, calling on citizens to actively appreciate and protect the nation's natural beauty. Government and development partners move swiftly to support households affected by climate shocks. And in sports, the Flames face Ethiopia in Addis Ababa, while the Scorchers take on Tanzania in Dar es Salaam this afternoon. For the latest news, visit our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Ubile Gaisa. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.